in Montreal, he's going to have a special fan. I think that's the best way to introduce you. Wayne Gretzky, tennis super fan.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were going to be here for Roger Federer's 36th birthday celebrations or for Denis Shapovalov's first round match.
Well, listen, first of all, it's great to be here, and the people with the organizers of the tournament have been so wonderful to my family and I. We've had an opportunity to watch a lot of tennis, but watch the players practice too. My daughter is 14 and plays tennis. She's got a chance to play for a few hours each morning and practice and tone her skills. This has been a tremendous adventure for all of us, and we're really excited about seeing Denis play today. Obviously, everyone's a little bit nervous because he's so young, but I'm really genuinely excited to watch this young man go. I think he's really excited about playing today.
Did you give him any little bit of advice before the match?
You know, we just wish him good luck. And, you know, the greatest thing about sports is the people you get to meet and the families are involved. And it was so nice to see his mother give him a big hug and a big kiss to wish him good luck before this match. I know everybody's probably a little bit nervous, but the great athletes want to be at center stage. You know, they want to play under and be under that microscope. I think he has ice in his veins. I think he's one of those guys who's going to love the pressure and take on that responsibility. You know, it's people say, oh, you put too much pressure on that 18-year-old. It's not pressure, it's facts. You're here to produce and you're here to excel and win. And obviously, being so young, he's just going to get better each and every day and each and every month and each and every year. Work ethic is such a big part of it. If you work hard, good things happen.
Sounds like you should be his coach. That was great. That was great advice.
Yeah.
But it's great to have you back around tennis, because I remember in the 1980s you had your annual big fundraiser in Brantford was around tennis, and it was a couple of good shots of you with the shorts of the day, if I remember correctly.
You guys didn't tell me you're going to pull this out.
You still got a pair of those somewhere?
Yeah, I probably do, but let me tell you something. I was sitting in my backyard with my best friend that I grew up with in 1980, and I grew up in a town that the Canadian Blind School was in Brantford. And my aunt, who I grew up with, was mentally challenged with Down syndrome. And I was just sitting there with a friend one day, said, you know, we should have a big charity tennis tournament. And my dad and his dad kind of ran the event. In the first year, I think we lost $3,000, and I went into my own pocket and put $5,000 in so we could at least make a couple grand for the charity. But we went on from there and got great sponsorship and went on from there, and everybody rallied around it and became one fun event and a great event.
So Wayne, you touched on it a little bit earlier. You mentioned how Denis Shapovalov, he is a competitor. He's got ice in his veins. You know, you turned professional when you were a teenager. If you could go back to your 18-year-old self and extract something that you could maybe share with Denis to help him reach his potential, or maybe even, you know, avoid making some mistakes that perhaps you made, what would it be?
Well, listen, I think the biggest thing of all is, first of all, you got to have the confidence in yourself, and you got to believe in yourself that you can be successful. And then the other thing is you got to have respect for the game. And by having respect for the game, you respect the people that you're playing against, the people that you're playing with, the coaching that you have, the camp that's around you. I was so lucky. I had tremendous people around me. When I got involved with the Edmonton Oilers, Glenn Sather and his staff, and the young people who came in, we all pushed each other. Tennis is a little bit different sport. You're a little bit more on your own. It's a little bit, obviously, a little bit more individualized. But the biggest thing I learned, and I tell this story all the time to everyone, is from Gordie Howe. Just work every day. And, you know, every day is not going to be successful. And you're going to have bad moments. You're going to have bad games. But if you work hard each and every day, ultimately, if you're talented, good things happen. And I think he's going to be fine.
That's great advice.
Well, speaking of great talent, you've seen Roger Federer play.
Yeah.
Is he, in your opinion, the greatest tennis player you've ever observed?
Well, I think this, you know, it's hard to compare everyone. But I would not only say he's the greatest tennis player, but I would rank him in maybe top 3 greatest athletes of all time. You know, he deserves to be up there with guys like Michael Jordan and Muhammad Ali, Pele. You know, he's a special man. He's got charisma, he's got style, he's got class, he's a winner. He loves his sport. He's got a passion for the game. You know, he's a little bit like our Gordie Howe was. He's just a special man. And, you know, years from now, the tennis world and the sports world is going to look back and go, wow, was that guy ever a great athlete? But let me tell you the great thing about sports. You know, just when you think you've seen it all, somebody else comes along and you go, wow, we never thought we'd see a guy that good again. And it, you know, you go back to the McEnroe days and obviously Pete Sampras and Bjorn Borg, and people thought, well, are we ever going to get a guy as good as that guy? And all of a sudden this guy comes along and might be as good as all those guys combined. So that's the great thing about sports. every sport seems to get better, and every sport seems to have that guy who comes along. In hockey, it's Crosby, and now Connor McDavid. Tennis, Roger, obviously what he's done. Not only greatest tennis player, but personally I would rate him as one of the 3 greatest athletes of all time.
What's great is that you're such a big tennis fan, and athletes are fans of other athletes. And
Right.
Federer, he's a pretty big hockey fan, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know how big a hockey fan he is, but I know he collects hockey jerseys because his mother's explained to us one day since he's been younger, he's collected all these hockey jerseys over the years. I think she said something like, I didn't know where Roger was going to put him, but I think he can build a big enough house now that he can house all those jerseys. But, one of the wonderful things about our sport is the people you get to meet. You get to travel around the world, and I've been so blessed everything in my life because of hockey. And, to meet and be around and see players play at this level, whether it's tennis or golf or baseball. I'm such a big sports fan. Our family are such big sports fans. I'm just thrilled to be here. And this is a great event, this tournament, with what Milos has done and meant for the game of tennis in our country. He's brought a lot of new young blood into the game, guys like Denis. So I know it's been an exciting time. I hope somehow, some way we can get a Canadian to win this, and hopefully this is the week that it happens.
How's your tennis game?
I'm not very good, but
Okay.
listen, but you know what? It's a great sport, and I love it. It's a great family sport, whether it's golf, tennis, and we're having a tremendous time here. As I said, Tennis Canada has been wonderful to us, and we've had a wonderful time.
Well, we don't want to take up much more of your time because
I gotta
I know
go watch the match.
you have to go in and watch tennis. Wayne, thank you so
thank
much
you.
for stopping
You guys are
by.
doing a
Enjoy
great
the
job.
match.
Thank you very
If we
much.
hear someone screaming on the sidelines, we'll know where to point the camera. We'll know who to look at.